In continuation with our 4-part series in collaboration with Oberlin Business Partnership, we're sharing how 5 successful local area companies have adapted, shifted, and refocused to deal with the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. In episode 2, we focus on the business learnings that transpired during the pandemic, a new way of operating, thinking, managing, and engaging during uncharted times. Thanks for watching.
I think that as far as leaders are concerned, our evolution took place in that we had to fill a vacuum. Our employees were hearing information from all over the place. It wasn't uniform, and their responses to the crisis was not uniform. So we had to learn everything that we could, and we had to then provide the leadership and make sure that all concerns that our employees had were understood, not only from safety, but just the general work environment. People really didn't know what to do, and we had to learn a lot. We had to be confident in the communication with our employees. So our management group was really meeting constantly where we hadn't done that before, and then having to remember to take all of the information and the plans that we put together and make sure that everybody in the building understood what we were doing.
My staff and I, once COVID hit, we had the opportunity through Oberlin to do Serve Safe altogether. There were so many things that you don't think about day to day. I mean, adjusting your mask or changing your gloves, and a new conversation happened within our staff, within our community. Technology was a big part of me learning. I wasn't familiar with all the technology, Zoom, group now. I didn't know any of those things. That was something that I really had to focus in on and hone in on, because I'm steady wanting to get up and do something. It was a learning curve, but in a way it made me and my business better, because now I can reach out to people using technology and being more up to par on our social media status.
I had to make the hardest decision I've ever had to make, which was to lay off my entire staff, because we were not an essential business, so we had to close. So I kept them until the 11th hour. I used every penny I had in my checking account, in my savings, everything from the business to keep them on as long as I could. I had to call all my vendors, and because I owed money for things that I had already received. So I had to call all my vendors, explain to them I had used all my money on payroll, and they all understood. They were all great. Everyone was in the same position. I also brought in more casual wear and did it because I knew it would sell and I knew it was the best for the business.
I remember saying this is the hardest thing that I've ever had to deal with so far. Just the uncertainty, and there were employees that got COVID, and it was just helping them out, getting them taken care of. We have about 425 employees. We had about 65 people in quarantine. That was a challenge, but we were able to tackle that head on, reassure the employees that they're in good hands, and everybody did recover, was able to get back to work. And now, that positively affected us, because now we have quite a few people that are cross-trained and know how to do a different job in the nursery, but also initiating that changes around here so that we can be around for the future.
And our staff was really looking for leadership and constant communications, keeping that in place and making sure that they knew weekly what was going to go on. We had to up our game in communications.
So when COVID happened, it was intense. Style-wise, we did change. We went into making more loungy, athletic clothing. I couldn't be too arrogant. It did make me think differently, even going forward, using recycled materials and recycling fabric, and just being more conscious of the earth and germs and things like that. So it does open up your mind a little bit more from the pandemic. It really was intense and stressful to keep up with the online orders, but I have my wife that helped out with that. It was stressful too, worrying about family members if they would get COVID, or even people that were helping make the mask. So that was also stressful, or even the stress of yourself getting COVID. So that was hard to sleep on every night when you're producing something that people really need at that time. But I think it made us stronger as a team here to go forward.
For more information on Oberlin Business Partnership and Oberlin businesses, events, and experiencing Oberlin to its fullest, Visit oberlin.org.